Are we okay? So
Yeah. Hang on.
Are we supposed to say that?
I was gonna say, are we live now or okay?
Just about like, yep, that's coming through. Yep, here we go. Yep, we're going.
Yay!
Yes, I managed to do this. Three cheers,
Oh,
yay.
good.
I told you you could do it.
Oh, well, hang on a second. Just Just got to get muted. Okay, cool. Yep, we are live. Let us go. All right, everybody.
Let's
Welcome
go.
to the first ever episode of Jug Live. We are here with returning guests of Antoine and Reece, and very special guest of Murewa Ayodele, the writer of Storm. Murewa, how are you, mate?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Jug. It's nice to be on the show. A big fan of the show.
That is so nice to hear. Antoine, Reece, how you two doing these days?
I think we might have lost Reese, but hopefully he'll
You
be
prob-
back. He's having some connections
Yep.
issues, so we'll do our best. But I'm doing
Yeah.
great. I'm excited to be here. It's been a really crazy good week, with the release of number 10. We've been getting a lot of good feedback about the book, some really good reviews. That's what we like to see. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm great. I'm happy.
Yep. Yep. That's actually a fantastic issue this week with the Storm 10 and everything. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna kick it off really with my general emotions about it.
Okay.
So you got the actual first sequence. Yeah, yeah, let's just jump right in. We're just going right in. I'm just gonna start off.
Mm-hmm.
The first general sequence where we got at the kaiju, I'm not gonna lie, that actually made me feel like how I was feeling when I read McDuffie's Fantastic Four book when he was writing Storm on the Fantastic Four. It felt very similar, like because with a lot of Storm, she's mostly sometimes written as a very serious character. She knows. She knows her place, and it means that she has to put on this very serious outer external shell in a way. But McDuffie did a very soft, very open type of Storm, and I'm feeling the same
Yeah.
thing here. It was like I was reading McDuffie's run again. It's actually
Yes.
very nice. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're also one character short from the Stormtastic Four, that was actually really fun.
Good
That's right.
point.
That's what I've
Yeah.
been dumping the idea. And also the fact it was a bit cosmic, the cosmic suits. That's a very Fantastic Four thing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, it was very very F4. It was so McDuffie. And then you had to go and
Uh,
spoil it by killing off the Australian character.
sorry about that. It's I loved writing that sequence a lot. I love sci-fi stories. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan. As much as I'm a big fan of fantasy god stories, I love sci-fi stories. You can see with the FBI agents, the corpse that is a lie detector, all those aspects. So I love the sci-fi elements. It's why I also love Fantastic Four. I was a big fan of the cartoon series. I think that came out around 2006 by
Mm.
Christopher Yost, I think. So I love that. It's always been an inspiration to me on how I approach storytelling as well. So I love that. And but concerning Storm's headspace about seeing a softer Storm, the story in issue one actually starts that way as well. We actually have a softer Storm. Like she's rescuing the children, she's hugging them, she's giving them first aid. But it's at the end of that story that eternity sets in, and then she also has the old radiation poisoning. That's where we start seeing a little of that joy, a little of that happiness gradually leave. And we start seeing it reach this crescendo when the storm gods attacked her in Storm 7, when she's angry at that snake, and so many things. So now we're seeing her almost recovering again as she's surrounding herself with friends, and she's becoming more happy. And then the cosmic gods also come in again ruin that happiness, and so we'll see where we go from there, and see will Storm be able to remain stoic and controlled as she does, or will she lash out and crash out, so yeah.
Those cosmic bitches. Antoine, Reece, what did you think of the book this week?
Well, I mean, I had a lot of different thoughts when I first read it because there was so much to process. There's a lot of subliminal messages to me that I kind of picked up on, just like you were saying about her personality and kind of where she was, how she was sort of reaching a level of being happy again, having a community again, having friends around her. It was very wholesome to see that moment. And I could absolutely understand what you were saying about it being reminiscent of Dwayne McDuffie because that was a happier time in her life. She was married, there was a point where the marriage was going well. Her and T'Challa were happy together. They were happy to fill in for friends that they've known for
Mm-hmm.
a long time. So it was a good time for her, and you could tell by her behavior, by her attitude, that she was in good spirits. She was happy. She was playful even. She cracked a few
Mhm.
jokes, and you got to see that in the beginning of this to see, okay, she's made some progress since the last time. It's not so somebody made a comment about this. There's a show here in the States called Everybody Hates Chris. And so they kind of dubbed the series in a way. They said Everybody Hates Storm. That was like the joke for the series. And it kind of felt that way because there was a lot going on. So reading this issue was sort of like, okay, we're reaching a better space. And then, of course, as so often happens with solo hero stories, something comes and just dashes that away because what kind of solo hero stays happy for too long? So I thought it was great. I thought it was an emotional
It's
journey.
true.
I thought it was a great setup for the rest of the Thunder War, which is going to be even crazier.
Yeah, massively
Reese.
great setup for Thunder War, especially like it's almost like the calm before the storm of even like the
Yeah,
happiness, the before like yeah, like you're partying before the bombs drop.
and they're dropping.
So yep, it's a dark way to put it, but that's well kind of how it is. Reece, what are your thoughts?
I loved it. I'm trying not to curse because I'm trying to be respectful, but I freaking loved it. I thought everything about this book. Also, I don't know what it is, Muriel. Every time, every issue, you make me laugh. Every issue. I'm having too much fun with this book. I don't know why, but this book is just chef's kiss. Um, I think my favorite part of that issue is just how out of nowhere Galactus just falls on the FBI agents. Like, plop. Like, where did he? Where'd that come from? But I just, yeah, I loved everything about it. I do have a question for you though. I can't remember the ginger mutant's name on the FBI team.
Etienne.
She was, huh?
Etienne.
That's the
Etienne.
end.
Etienne did a pose. Was that pose from Death Note where she's hunched over doing her voodoo? Because that's the
Ooh.
same thing. Do you know Death Note? Wait a minute. Have you watched Death Note?
I've
Probably not. Never
watched a
mind.
little of
Okay.
Death Notes, not much. Um,
Okay. Well then, go
I
ahead.
think for me, my headspace was mostly in the Hercules cartoon series where the Fates were cut the life strings of
Oh.
immortals. Yeah,
Yeah,
when they were
that's
about to
about
cut
right.
the life string of Hercules, he becomes immortal and they struggle with it. The scissors is supposed to be like all jaggly, just like that. But I think are being unched like that. That might have been Lucas putting that reference in as well.
It's possible. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to
Nice.
send you a picture of it. But other than that, I the book was phenomenal. I loved how you introduced new applications to Storm's powers, infusing lightning with solar radiation. That's
That was cool.
never seen before. But it's funny because many a time Antoine, Butterfly Kiss, we've always argued about how multiple ways a writer can just go wild with Storm's powers. But for
Mhm.
some reason, she is always stuck with lightning, ice, and wind. Mostly lightning. And it's just like, come on, you guys have a whole canvas, whether it could be anything and everything. But I'm so happy you actually introduced something new. I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Although I take offense to wind because I love wind power. It's
I do
probably one of
too.
my favorites. Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least
I
maybe
like air
introduce
pressure.
some
I think
wind slashes.
If you want to play,
Yeah.
if you want to
And
play
the
Marvel Rivals, that's
oh,
like her primary fire is like the wind. I think they call them wind shears. Yeah.
or
yeah, like
wind
One
tunnel.
Piece is like,
Who says that?
Says what?
who does say that? That sounds familiar. Wind tunnel.
Who says wind tunnel? It's not storm. Wind tunnel. Who says that?
Now that I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
Anybody in the anybody in the chat, if you know
I don't know.
wind tunnel, put it in the chat.
That sounds. It sounds like Digimon though. For
Also,
some reason, I keep.
It could be.
It could be.
Okay.
could be. Like going back to the whole vibe of McDuffie a little bit was also the whole thing, not the actual subject matter of getting her hair cut, but yelling about she having to cut her hair. Was that even a little bit inspired by when she's yelling at Ben in the McDuffie run about her hair? Because that's one of my absolute
Oh,
favorite scenes in that run.
oh, everything from issue 7 as being like a reference to like that Dwayne McDuffie scene with Storm and her hair with the thing. That's why I made her cut it. And our argument about, oh, this is not weave. It's why she are cutting her hair. She's now forced to use a weave.
Mhm.
Like something she just bragged about, she has to now use it. So it's everything has been inspired by that. And the fact that she will be so angry about it, about her hair being cut, is because of that thing that, because normally if you're, yes, we all know that, oh yeah, as a black woman, as a woman, you might be upset with someone forcing you to cut your hair against your will. you
Yeah.
know yes, we know that, but in context of the Marvel universe, of the story of Storm's continuity, it might seem like, oh, it doesn't make sense if Dwayne McDuffie's story wasn't there. But Dwayne McDuffie's story is what brings that context in. That was what inspired it. Like, yeah, Storm has always been someone that's sensitive about her hair, and
Yeah.
she prides herself in the length of her hair and how natural it is, and without having to use a weave. If it's something she prides herself in, you made her cut it, you made her to use a weave.
Yeah, so if we see her with Ben, they both know to keep quiet. Like they're thinking it, but they won't say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not say
Yeah.
anything. Do not say anything.
That would be a
Oh
funny
man, that would
follow-up
be
scene,
freaking
though.
hilarious.
Very.
It would be. Yep, putting that out in the universe, even as a mini comic.
I had the worst
So
connection.
with the next book, oh yeah, I
Go
think
ahead.
we've actually this is kind of a sucky connection for all of us or something.
I'm sorry, y'all.
So
Sorry.
it's no worries, it's no worries. Now this is like my first stream. We're all learning here. We'll get
What
it
were
all
you
right in there
saying?
on the next one, maybe. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're the most fun.
with yeah, with the next book, we've seen all. This is actually a bit of a genuine curiosity for me. We see
Mm-hmm.
all the different sky and storm gods in that Colosseum look, and me and a few friends we were chatting about it, and I got curious because do you by any chance know the Egyptian sky goddess Nut or Nut? Because I really feel that would be a very interesting character to introduce to Storm, given the fact Nut is one of the few sky mothers in global culture, as well as the fact not only is she the goddess of the sky, she's the goddess of celestial bodies and the universe and mothers. So that almost sounds exactly like the Eternal Storm in a way. I was wondering, is there going to be a chance we're going to be seeing her too?
Um, hmm, it's it's something I'm still playing around with. Um, for now, that, even though we don't see the character is kind of referenced a little, but the character that's in that Colosseum that's of the Egyptian pantheon is Seth, because he's the god of storms and is the one that has history with facing a serpent.
Hmm.
So that's what he has in common with all the other storm
Okay.
gods there. But in that issue, we see that the realm they are in, you know, was built by the supreme sky gods of different pantheons.
Hmm.
Um, so I think Ra, I think we see a little statue of Ra, we see a little statue of Amaterasu and statue of Olorun.
Hmm.
So maybe as the story moves forward, we might after like because we've explored the thunder gods a little here, we might move towards exploring sky fathers and sky mothers,
Mm.
the sky
That would be
gods.
cool.
Interesting. It would be really cool. She's a very interesting goddess, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they have very different personalities. They have similar personalities, just like storm gods, like the way they are similar, but they also have very different personalities from storm gods. Storm gods are these rageful warriors, but you don't usually, besides Zeus, and it's because Zeus is also a storm god, you don't usually see
Yeah.
that when it comes to like the sky gods.
Hmm.
Yeah, and also given Storm's connection to Egypt, it almost seems like you could even make an idea that Snoot could have actually been like one of Storm's ancestors that also became an eternal storm in a way. Just like I'm not
Mhm.
teasing or anything out there. It's just a pop an idea that came into my head.
Yeah, it's very, very,
Or
very,
she could
very
be
possible to
Mott
explore.
Oster, or she could be like Oster, or I know Mott in Egyptian lore is Oster, the goddess of light.
Hmm.
I feel like some of these gods could just, transform into um a different being. I think it was in an old Thor comic where Gaia actually tells or speaks about how she sired a lot of children by just transforming herself into another earth goddess of that other pantheon. So that's what I'm thinking what Oster did with Newt or Mott and stuff like that. That's where my mind is going. But maybe there are different beings. I don't know.
Yeah, although I think Oshto was probably inspired by Ishtar, which
Oh,
is a
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mesopotamian god just like Hadad.
Hmm.
So
yeah.
I think
I
they
can
are
see that.
older than the Egyptian um, deities. Mm.
Yeah, much older.
But
And
yes,
Wait.
but yes, you're
sorry,
saying
Reese, what were you saying there?
So I was gonna ask you. So it's elder god. So Hadad is just a god, not an elder
yeah,
god. Just to confirm.
not an elder god, just a
Okay.
god.
So he would be. Yep. Gotcha. So he will be like the sibling to no, not well, a sibling to Oster and Gaia and Set and them, or no? Or would he be
Child
considered a
and
sibling?
n- nephew and stuff to the elder
No, he
gods.
would be a cousin, a
Yeah,
nephew, or
child and nephew.
yeah.
Yes, he's more like the offspring.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Ooh.
staying on the gods
Ooh.
for staying on the gods for a minute. I got one that I'm really curious about, especially like okay, like I said, you kind of ruined it by killing off Eden. But one thing that got me curious, and the fact is, you don't need to be alive for this particular thing. But with Eden being an Indigenous Australian man and having Mama Ragan there, are we probably going to see any form of connection between Eden and Mama Ragan in a way? Like he could be part of Eden's language group of Indigenous Australians, or is that
let's
going
see
to be
how
completely
long.
separate?
Yeah, let's see how long the series goes, and we'll see if it's possible. Um, just like you're curious with Eden and Mamarangan, I think I may be a little more curious with Gateway and Mamarangan.
Hmm.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
That actually would make a lot. That would actually be very interesting, given the fact that not Eden Gateway is a Aboriginal elder and probably would have a connection with the gods. He has more of the knowledge that he's meant to pass down to Eden. It's
yeah.
actually a very fascinating thing to think about.
Hmm.
Well, you know, the Aussie
And
and having Aussie culture in the book, so yeah.
and I always love and I always love playing with the fact that Gateway might be an older version of Eden.
Yeah,
it,
that's been rumored.
it kind of yeah.
I I I love that
Yeah.
fan theory and the head canon of people, even though I don't think that's fact
Right.
and anything, but I
Yeah.
write with that in mind. I don't want to break that head canon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Which is a fun sort of in between to play with.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes one of those
Great.
fascinating little loops type
Yeah.
of scenarios. It's
exactly.
always really cool to think about.
That Eden trained himself basically because it's
Yeah.
Gateway.
Yeah. Yes.
It, I'm actually really interested in a backstory for Eden. Like, in my opinion, like Eden's still very underdeveloped as a character. Like him as the now is developed, but him who he could be, could have been, is still very underdeveloped because like we don't know a lot of his history before when he showed up in the Avengers. Like we haven't got much of a backstory. We don't really know his connection to country. And I really feel like that could be very interesting to go into, especially because I feel like out of all the Australian characters in Marvel, I think he's the most prominent and has like the highest pedestal.
Yes, for yeah.
So I think that could be interesting go to. So yeah, so continuing on. Let's see. Done that one, done that one. Can't remember that. Oh, that's
I
right.
have a question.
This
Muriel,
was asked
I
by
have
a
a
friend
Okay.
of
question.
mine. Oh yeah, sure. Hit us, Zeus.
Um, are we ever going to see I can't remember the Orisha's realm again? Like, are we going to go back there? Like, is there?
um hopefully, because I love Olorun, and I would like to have a story with Olorun.
No, that would be
I
cool.
think I
Yeah,
love that book.
Storm goes back and takes it over. It's my house now.
I mean,
Like, or
after she beats
or
Infinity,
maybe,
she might as well.
yeah,
Why
because
not?
to me, Olorun is very, very similar in, not completely, but similar in the way he behaves and the power levels with the one above all. So I want to
Really?
see almost a toned down version of the one above all, you know, which is Olorun.
Oh yeah,
So
Hmm.
let's see if we can play around with that kind of concept without too much of that ramifications,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Um,
yeah. Toned
we
down
had to
version of
shorten
the
it.
one above all is actually my favorite kind. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to shorten a lot of things because as well, because of the number of issues that we have. I
Yeah.
when we have Black Winters, from Haddad, because they're leaking into the realm, I wanted into different realms because we've seen it from like issue 7 and different things. We're already getting teases. We see more of that. So I wanted to show a scene where the Black Winters go to Orun, and all the gods are ready for war and everything. Like, what do we do with the Black Winters? And Olorun, just like the one above all, is always secluded. He doesn't interact much with people. He's always on his own, and everything just stands up, and it's like, don't, like, almost like Thanos, fine, I'll do this myself, and just
Yeah.
with a wave of his
Yeah.
hand, poof, every single Black Winter gone. Like, I'm going back now, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is it's those characters
You
that
made
just
me
make
get out of my
few
chair.
appear. Yeah, all those characters that just make very few appearances. I just like
Yeah.
them. They just show up once in a while and then poof, and then they retreat.
Yeah. The game
Stuff like
enders.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for and before we move forward,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask while this was on my mind, I had seen a few people mention this like online, so I thought it might be a good subject to bring up. If the series continues long enough, what are the likelihood what is the likelihood or the possibility that we might be getting more of like a street level story? I know some people express some
Ooh.
interest in seeing like like a Moon Knight type Spider-Man sort of Goon type storyline? Is there a possibility that they could be
Yeah.
coming in the pipeline?
Um, that's the thing. If we get more issues, definitely. But the reason why we've not seen a lot of that in this is what a lot of people don't understand. Or I don't expect them to understand as well. Is and this is not anyone's fault or anything. It's when I got the call for Storm, I did my research to see what people say of a Storm series. And if people still remember, even when the book was not announced, if you remember all the things people said about the series, people
Hmm.
have a certain level of expectations. Number one thing that they say is, oh, Storm series are usually inconsequential to the overall Marvel story.
Yes.
So don't feel the need to pick it up. It's just a story that's just so there's that. Even though there's not enough material to prove it is, people just say it. It's just something like that. It's one.
Yeah.
Two is, oh yeah, it's always a story about a family and Africa and different things. That's another one. Um, and so many things like that. And I saw that it was hindering a lot of people from trying Storm series, and also making people have this myopic view of what a Storm series could be.
Hmm.
So my intentions for the first, like this first story, this mega hack that is like this 12 issue series, this 12 issues, is that I want to break all that conception. I want to break
Yes.
everything. you know let's Silver Surfer have a new design because it took place in the Storm series.
Hmm.
Let's Abraxas have a new design because it took place in the Storm series. Let Bishop have a new design because that take place in the Storm series. Let something change that you see in your other books, not just designs, story things change because you saw it in the Storm series. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this
Yep.
series
Oh
is
yeah.
changing things.
Yeah.
This story is changing things. It's consequential to say that, oh, a Storm series can be epic. You
Hmm.
know, a Storm series can be as epic as a Thor series. A Storm series can be as sci-fi as a Fantastic Four series. A Storm series can be as action-packed and brutal, which we are going to do in Rogue Storm, as a Wolverine series. It can be this and that. So once we've broken that preconceptions and all those biases, you can now say, okay, now, okay, let's slow down. We can
Hmm.
now tell stories about, oh yeah, this is Storm going through Atlanta. This is Storm having this discussion with this person. This is Storm doing this and that and stuff like that. I think
Hmm.
I think I saw someone, for example, talking about Rogue Storm and saying, oh yeah, Rogue Storm has one of the most interesting story concept, the solicitation and the synopsis, but
Hmm.
they don't have hope for it because they know the story is going to be nothing about, at the end of the day, they're just going to hug each other and that will be the ending. There won't be any consequence, there won't be any action, there won't be anything. That
Hmm.
for that reason, I'm not going to read it because it's a female-led book. They're just going to hug it out, and that's the end of the story. So things, so those are the things that comic readers say.
Yeah,
Like I
absolutely.
watch I watch channels of like comic some comic shops, not all, some comic shops, most of the comic shops are very, very good. And some like saying things about and I'm like, you're buying the books on your shelves, are you not even flipping through it? And they're like, oh yeah, this book is probably about this, as and stuff like that. So I think I saw one too that was reading the solicitations of and got to Storm 5 and said, oh yeah, a Storm series. It's probably going to be her running around in Africa, blah 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 blah. Why can't they do stories that, maybe Storm is even facing like major Marvel villains like Doctor Doom or something, and then he scrolls and then sees that the story was about Doctor Doom and quickly scrolls past it and doesn't read it. So,
Right.
you know,
Can't
so
admit he was
it's
wrong.
it's yeah. So those biases. So we need to break those biases first,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're seeing people
Absolutely.
yeah, so we're seeing people saying, let's have more, female characters and things like that,
Which is
which it's
tricky.
coming with. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming. We've already seen how it's already switching from Eternity's with
Yes.
Infinity, from Oblivion with T's Death's appearance. It's switching and all those stuff. So it's deliberate, but we needed to break the preconception of
Yes.
black male characters are not
Mm.
viable.
Yes.
We need to break that preconception.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's not that we've broken it, that we say
That's
that okay,
true.
we can have books that sell and all those stuff. Yeah, then we can do mix and match. We can do
Yeah.
all those stuff. So we need to first break it. It's because we've broken those preconceptions that I think the book is now open to some criticisms, but it's like it's deliberately opened itself to it. It's deliberately opened itself to those discussions,
Yeah.
because if we did
Yeah.
not break those things, then we can't have it. If it
Yeah.
went straight into Storm going into Africa to explore her family, Storm going to be like, oh yeah, that's most of our solo series. It's going to be, oh yeah, that's this is nothing new. I remember
Yes.
when she had the radiation that people didn't know it was going to be like cosmic stuff. People are like, oh, she loses her power. Like, haven't you all seen that before? That was whatever. So we need to break those preconceptions, and then so now we can now start using those tropes in our
Right.
stories, but we need to
Right.
first break it first.
Yeah. I think that's a really important
But you know
point.
what?
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Go ahead, Antoine.
Sorry, Reese.
No, I was gonna let Antoine take his point, and then I was gonna do my point. Actually, let me
Oh,
say mine really quick.
yeah,
It's
go
really
ahead.
short.
Go ahead.
Murera, I think you didn't do more than just break. You reinvented Storm. Literally, you created a new character. You write Storm like Thor. I feel like I'm reading a Thor book every time I read Storm, and I love Thor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you didn't just break the biases. You reinvented this character. You breathed whatever the word. You breathed new life into Storm. Now everybody's talking about the book. Even the people that don't like the book, they're reading the book. So I think you should give yourself a big pat on your back for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you,
Let's all
Reese.
give Murewa a round of applause for what he's actually done for the book.
Yay. It's very well deserved.
actually,
Yeah.
hang on. Let me try something.
Yeah, very well deserved. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work.
Um, and my quick point that I was going to make simply was about what you were just saying, Maria, about breaking certain stereotypes as it relates to Storm. I noticed in the beginning, not so much now because I think people have gotten into the groove of it or just accepted that it's not going to change right now. I remember in the beginning, there was some pushback, some hesitation about, oh, why aren't we hearing Storm's voice? Why aren't we, why isn't she narrating? Which is an understandable, I won't say critique, but concern almost because it is something that is synonymous with her character and always has been. But in
Mm.
breaking some of those stereotypes, because just like you said, there's a certain preconception about a Storm book that, oh, okay, she's probably going to be having some drab internal struggle that's going to be, dramatically narrated, and it's probably going to end one or two ways. That's been kind of the because even X-Men Worlds Apart, which I really enjoyed. Um, there's just it was not too different. The locale was different, but it was also similar to her very first limited series that was written by Warren Dodson. There's always a certain kind of like internal struggle that she's going with that kind of comes off as being like, I don't want to call it cliche, but it's just similar. When it was done the first time, it was
Yeah.
cool, but then it was done again, and it was like, okay, this is kind of like the last one. And then when she had her Greg Pak solo series, it kind of had that same feel. So to me, and the way that I was explaining it to people, is like, we've got to do something differently because what was done before wasn't working. If it was, it would have been selling
Hmm.
better, and she would have had a series that would have continued. So I appreciated
That is it.
the deliberate
Yeah.
decision to go another way because it was necessary.
Yeah, and I also felt like
It's
by doing that, you end up like putting a bit more focus on Lucas Wernick's work because they can't see the actual emotional narrative in their head. So they
Yeah.
actually have to look at the artwork. They had to try and deconstruct the actual art pieces and panels that goes onto them. You have to try and look at Storm and see if you can discern what she's feeling. It's kind of, and that's what I really liked about it, because like with everything she was
Mhm.
going through, you that's like, and how actual people go through that, you can't read their minds. You have to try and figure things out. You have to try and sense it. You have to look at them. You have to talk to them. You can't
Yes.
go into their heads. So that's what I thought was
You
absolutely
make
brilliant
readers.
about it.
Yeah.
You make
There.
readers think, and I
Yeah.
like that. You actually make us think. So like when she was crying, like okay, well think about it. Why would Storm be crying? Well, she just had an entity just invade her body. Okay, well let's think back. Who was the last person that invaded her body? Oh, Emma Frost. Okay, well duh, that's why Storm is crying. Like to me, everything I think you show her emotions pretty easily. I think it's really easy to know how Storm is feeling. When you made that comment on the other interview about how Storm is increasingly getting angry, Storm is not really quick to anger, not at all.
Yeah.
But this time she's like, boom, she's on 10 immediately, 1 to 100. It's like, damn, Storm was wrong with you. But yeah,
Yeah. Also, I understand anyone that is frustrated by that choice, but just to explain again, like different reasons why I made that choice. You've all put it beautifully. Some of the reasons why I did that. Oh, there's another reason why I also did that. That I think people might also don't understand. Um, Mystery. Number one is mystery.
yeah.
Even if you don't know why
Ooh,
Storm
yeah.
is crying, even if you don't know why Storm is crying, you wonder why is she crying. If you can't figure it out, like
Mhm.
because you guys have been reading Storm comics for years, you can get like, yeah, Storm's autonomy is important to her.
Yeah,
This is why she's crying. But for
Right.
someone that is new
yeah.
to Storm, yeah, they may not know, and
Yeah.
it's okay not to know. It's
Yeah.
it's okay not to know something.
Yeah.
But when she now says the reason why she cried in issue 9, 4 issues later, and she says it's because it's reminded me of this traumatic experience I had as a childhood. Then it
Mhm.
hits you harder. Then you're like,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
oh, that's why she cried.
Yeah.
So it's the mystery of it
Yeah.
all. It
Yeah.
makes
But even
investing in this series more enjoyable. The way you read further and further, and then you have more context and you have more understanding.
Yes.
Oh, why did the Storm Gods attack her in issue 7? We're not completely sure yet. We're finding out bit by bit. In this last issue of issue 10, we said a lot of all these Thunder Gods look down at her. Why do they look down at her? You will know in issue 11. Gradually, it's mystery, it's long form storytelling, and it
Yeah.
makes every issue very, very enjoyable and fun. And you could almost even see it in, even if you go to Amazon and you see like the overall ratings, you will see it there. Like it's when you see those payoffs of major setups, you see the highest scores. Like issue 4, where we finally found out that, oh, the entity that took control of our body is eternity. Because we're not
Mhm.
completely sure in issue 1. We're like, what's going on? Why is she dying? What's trying? And issue 4, we see that big payoff with the emotional everything, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it shoots up to like 4.8.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
others are like 4.7, 4.5, 4.6, and it goes to 4.8. So, and then again, you see how issue 8, that, oh, the FBI agent, what's going on, was this, was that, oh, why is Tom acting all stupid, did she plan for this? And issue 9, you see that, oh, she knew all this all along, and all those, and you see that payoff. It's build up and payoff. Why did why did we like that scene where Storm said, you slept with your eyes closed. I warned you not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did it hit so hard? It's because
Yes.
in issue 7, she said, sleep with your eyes wide open before she cut her hair.
Yes.
It's those payoffs,
Yeah.
it's those payoffs. There's a statement that Storm says in issue 1, that Storm says in issue 1 to Jaden, and Jaden will say it to Storm in a different context in the next issue is Storm 11, I go to be like, and those states and that thing will just have more meaning to you
Mm,
because you've been reading from the very beginning,
right.
and so that's the reason why I'm shielding some of these things. If you know everything that's happening in Storm's mind, some of the mysteries won't hit as hard.
Yes.
Some
Yep.
of
Yeah.
and it might, and also this story, every story is different.
Yeah.
Every story is different. There's Noah. There's like Noah detective story. And some of this, and you have a lot of internal monologue in that, not just because of the emotional state of the detective. You know, is also so that we can see the detective analyze the
Right.
crime.
Yeah.
And see how he
Yeah.
tries to put everything together, and
Yes.
all those things like that. It's that kind of story. you know and sometimes you see a story like Star Wars, and you're like, nah, I don't think I want to see your internal thoughts. I want to see guns shooting other, giant ships, and
Yes.
things like that. It's not about the character.
Yep.
Sometimes it's about the story you're
The
trying to
story.
tell. So it's not about, oh, Storm is known for this. No, it's like Storm
Yes.
stories are known for this. This
Yes.
story is different.
Yes.
If
Yep.
we knew what Storm was thinking a lot of the times,
Exactly.
it will ruin some of our reactions as it moves. For
Yeah.
example, people thought, oh, Storm forgot about the Storm Gods. If there was internal narration, you would not think she forgot. Oh yeah, Storm is planning something. You know, oh, when they are joking around, when they are, when Margot is eating the kaiju flesh. If there's internal narration, you know that, oh, they're planning something. But what makes it really fun is that the fact that you weren't expecting it. And you
Yeah.
see the kaiju thing, they are laughing, and suddenly Storm shows up like Batman in the shadows, and tells Shango, I told you to
Yeah.
sleep with your eyes wide open. You're like, damn,
You
it's
you should
shocking,
have
it's surprising because you did not know that.
Right.
You wanted to
you
say
should have
something,
had
Reese?
Storm just popped him one and then said that moment.
Exactly.
Bam! I told you not to sleep with your eyes closed.
So yeah, so it's fun and
Just cock them on the head.
exciting, and yeah, and all those things, that because you did not know that was what Storm was planning. You thought Storm
Mm-hmm.
had forgotten about it. That's what makes it fun and enjoyable. And so that's some of those things. What is Storm thinking? You're not sure. It's you didn't even think Storm was thinking anything about eternity until issue 9. Storm's like, yeah, I'm planning to kill eternity. So, and now Infinity is like, what did you do to eternity? So we're like, oh my god, has Storm killed eternity already or something? So those are those things that we are playing around with, because this is it's another type of mystery kind of story. So it needs distance, it needs you to look at it almost from above and see how it plays.
Yeah.
And see how it plays.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of impact characters, and
Hmm.
so that's why it's just the choice, because of this kind of story I want to tell. And I'm not even saying, because X-Men Red did very well, and X-Men Red had a lot of internal dialogue. So it's not necessarily like, oh, it's a formula that might not work
Right.
for a
Yeah.
series or not make a series successful, but sometimes you just want to do something different.
Hmm.
you know and another thing I also wanted to
Yeah.
push against is that Storm was starting to get known for being a talker.
Hmm.
That, oh yeah, she talks a lot, and she's not doing as much.
Yeah.
Um, as fans of Storm, in House of X, she was the one that gave the speech, while our other X-Men were the ones that went into the sun to die.
Hmm.
So it's like she's starting to get
Yeah.
known for being a talker. Even as a Captain America fan, sometimes I miss it too. Like, I'm loving this current series for that too. For example, it's doing things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and in lots of in some
Kind
Avengers
of.
books, not in some Avengers books, not this one. This one is also good, and it's not Steve Rogers Captain America. So, but in some Avengers books, you see Steve Rogers as almost, in some events too, as almost reduced as, oh yeah, the symbol of hope, the symbol of peace, is the one talking. And like, dude, do something. Like, be the one to, dish out some stuff, let's see you lead, let's see you do some crazy. That's why people are having arguments and saying, Cyclops is the better tactician. It's because we've not even been seeing Captain America do some tactician moves. He's also a very good tactician as well, but we've not been
Yeah.
seeing it a lot. We've been seeing
Yeah.
it being a symbol of inspiration and symbol of hope and symbol of peace rather than being a badass tactician. Let's see them act rather than being symbols. So I
Yeah.
also wanted to take Storm out of the whole
Yeah.
space of, oh, what you do most is talk. I wanted to put her in the position of, yeah, Storm does, she takes action too. It's not just talk. So yeah. So it's also why I kind
Yeah,
of
it does
also
kind of
held back on the speech too.
yeah, and especially because this is a visual medium, it would actually help with more action-based type of stuff. Especially like it
Yeah.
would definitely not put more work, but put more focus on artists and really show off their work if they're able to express emotions in the sense of in a more visual sense, and just not have things explained, have people try and figure things out. So that's actually a very brilliant way of looking at it. So yeah, kudos to you. And honestly, when it comes to Storm being known as a talker, I'm kind of putting that one on Ewing and Hickman because they are very explanatory writers. They
Yeah.
write and write and write and put so many words into their comics, and so, honestly, sometimes it actually takes me out of it. So the idea of using less words is actually I actually very much appreciate because it actually helps me stay hooked and stay in the story. And I know there's a lot of people like me that would actually really appreciate that.
Yeah. Again, it's
Yeah,
also
so that's
like you
actually
said,
massive. That's massively brilliant.
yeah, like you said, it's also a matter of taste.
Yeah.
Just like you say, you prefer less text in your
Mm.
book. Some people prefer more. So I'm a fan of Aliwin and Ikman as well. Dotun loves their work. He loves a dense book. So yeah, it's a matter of taste. While at the same time, I also love stories written like by people like Gendy Tartakovsky. I love Simon Spurrier's Step by Bloody Step that is completely silent. I love those books as well. I love dense books. I love those slow books as well, and I want to be able to tell them together, and not have to choose. And people, I think some people have mentioned about how Storm has silent pages, and I'm like, yeah, Jeff Lemire has silent pages. There are other creators that have silent pages. It's not justice. It's not trying to be lazy or trying to waste pages. It's sometimes
Right.
some story needs to be told visually without much text. And at the same time, also, it's like if you want to hyper focus on some things, you that's all you see.
Yeah.
When it comes to when the characters talk as well, I have more dialogue than most people too. When the characters get to talk, you know, what like during the interrogation scenes when the characters start monologuing, the page is bloody full. Like
Hmm.
there's text
Yeah,
balloons
there's a lot of
everywhere.
text.
Yeah, where it was just one panel where Shango was like dishing out all this electricity and Storm was like pushing everything away in this circle kind of thing. There's like five balloons there, and Storm is just monologuing as she's repelling the electricity. So it's when they talk properly, and when there's no need to talk,
Yeah.
it's silence.
I agree.
So yeah, it's trying to
And plus, it
balance
means
that.
you also can save up your words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because at some point
Yeah.
it's like, what is it that you want? I think I made this example some time ago, even though I was kind of playing, but I was also serious to an extent. It was two examples. The first one was when she got stabbed with the stick in issue number one. And I'm just like, well, I mean, what did you want? Did you want a narration where she's saying, "Oh my God, oh my goddess, this stick has hurt me. I'm bleeding profusely. I need to figure out like what is that what you want?" Because
no,
now,
no,
granted, in the past, she's kind of
no.
done that. But, and then when
No,
she was eating the pastry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
yeah, it can work.
I
It
like.
can work. You can say things like,
Yeah,
um, it's hurts, it stings, it reminds me of this particular traumatic experience where this, and you're like, okay, like
Yeah.
we've made jokes about how Storm's weakness is sticks. For some reason,
Yes.
nothing has gotten to hurt her except sticks.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have a little.
Dr. Stickleton.
Yeah. So if you want to beat some, just cover yourself in sticks. She can do something that is not humorous, but in a dramatic way, referencing the fact that it's always sticks. It's always the damn sticks. It
Actually, you could
can
even make
work.
a joke about. You could even make a joke
It
about like
can.
a connection to vampires. Getting stick
Yeah,
like stake with a
exactly.
wooden stake. Yeah.
Yeah. So it can work. It's not like it can work. It's just
Like
we
a
tend to
running
hyper
gag.
focus. Yeah, we tend to hyper focus on what we want something to be rather than facing it for what it is.
Yes.
What's
Right.
the point? What's the point of ordering chicken and say, oh my god, it doesn't taste like goats?
Right.
It's like, yeah, like
That's a good
if it's
quote.
a
That's a
if
good quote. I'm quoting you on that one.
yeah, like if
Just
it's
gotta
goats,
write that.
yeah,
Yeah, just write
let's
that
it,
down.
if it's chicken, let it's chicken. So that's what it feels like. It's like we're ordering chicken, we're eating chicken, and we're complaining that it doesn't taste like goats. So that's the problem. It's not that, oh, it won't work. There are different ways it can work.
Yeah.
Um so that's just it's mostly, even like, even narration for this story is a choice. I Am Iron Man does not have any narration at all. Moon Knight, Black Hat, White and Blood doesn't. In my Avengers Unlimited series, it's narrated, but it's narrated by the villain. It's narrated by the big villain. So it's it's third person POV rather than omniscient narrator. So it's still
Hmm.
POV narration. So it's restricted to one individual. So it's not that, oh, I can't write first person POV. I've written novelettes before, which are usually all first person POV.
Hmm.
So it's just, what does this story need? And
Yeah.
what this story needs is an omniscient narrator, because the story will switch POV
Yeah.
to the one above all, to eternity. It will switch POV to Storm. It will switch POV to different characters. You know, Towards this end, it's going to switch POV to Doctor Voodoo. It's going to switch POV to Death. It's going to switch POV to the Thunder Gods. And if Storm is the narrator, how the hell does she know what is happening with the Thunder Gods?
Right.
So
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of death, with that whole new redesign, is there a particular reason for that? Like, is there going to be like this massive reason of her new design, or is it just something you thought was going to be looking cool, or Lucas thought was going to look cool? Like, is there going
um,
to be like a particular explanation for this new, very pointy design?
no, it's just, if Jonathan Hickman can get to design all the entities in Gods, we can get to design all the entities he hasn't designed yet, and design it in the Storm series too. So it's
Right.
it's it's more of us putting our D word on the table and say, yeah, we can do it too.
Right.
Okay,
I mean, she
that
the
just had me
cosmic
thinking.
entities.
And also besides that, Infinity looks freaking good and appropriate for our look. Eternity looks
Oh,
freaking good. Jack Kirby, Oblivion as a Leviathan is an OG design. It just works.
oh
It
yeah.
Yeah.
just works. And I also love, you know, I've been picking and choosing. And sometimes I've been picking and choosing in a way that doesn't make sense. Okay, this one, for example. Um, Eternity's new design, I prefer the old one, yes. But the new design works better because the mask is identical to Infinity's mask.
Hmm.
So you can get to be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they are twins. But I've been using more of the old classic design
Okay.
because I like the classic design. So not all my choices have been great. But because I just love that Jack Kirby-esque, look. And also in this story, we've been switching, we can switch, but also just I just want this book to just look good. oh yeah, so I love this design, I love this. The Leviathan one, I love the Leviathan, I love the classic look. So we use both. We transition
Hmm.
between both. But
It's starting to
death,
make me wonder if you're going to use.
use
Sorry,
what?
you go on. I was like, it's making me wonder if you're going to use
Jack.
the classic Jack Kirby design for One Above All.
Oh,
That,
um,
yeah, you're just
I
putting that
make
in my head.
I make a little reference to that in Storm 12. But um so but while all of them are looking like really good right now with a mixture of the classic designs and the modern Villaros Kitty and Jonathan Hickman designs, Death as I don't like the whole blue hoodie and skull thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's like everybody's hitting right now and she stayed there,
Yeah.
and we keep referencing that she's probably the most beautiful of all of them. She's the most sexy, she's the most alluring, she's the most this of all the entities, but
Yeah.
it's not showing in her design. And I think Donny Cates, I forgot the name of the artist, Jeff Shaw, um did a kind of design that is cool in Thanos Wings. They I think one was also played around in like Jason Store Run, but it's not being consistent. They use it, they don't use it, and stuff. And like, okay, let's do one that is just okay. This is death, and it's humanoid, but not completely human, just like the other ones. And let's give a definitive look. And I didn't want to go. I wanted the skull thing, but not also the skull thing, because not only humanoid creatures die, so why should it also be a human face? So, you know, so it's those things we've played around with and everything. So yeah, it's why I decided to do a fresh new design for and so that she can
Yeah,
fit in better with the current look
Yeah.
of all the other
Yeah.
entities.
Right.
it's actually fair. Just pretty much saying, "Hey, work it, girl."
Yeah. And then she
It,
has a
re- it
spade
reminds me of
logo.
it reminds me of Hellraiser, one of those Cenobites, Pinhead. Uh, Death's new design just reminds me of one of those creatures.
It reminds me of something. I can't figure out what it is.
It
There
just
was,
I
it just
remember.
works.
yeah, it
It just
does.
works
Yeah.
all around.
It does.
He has
It
Yeah.
does.
he has a little spade
I mean,
design. I
because
think somebody said you're saying Reese.
oh, I was saying, I mean, it does work. I mean, they're cosmic entities. They can change in any form that they want. So I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say go crazy with it. If you have a new form that you want to make for eternity or infinity or for death, I say go for it because they change at any they can change at any time. Which reminds me of that one Thanos book where the one above all was constantly changing, constantly changing. He went to a female, to male,
Yeah.
to a dog, to a cat, to every time he was talking to Thanos and Warlock, he was always changing his face, his voice, everything. So I would say do the same thing.
Why not?
I don't
Yeah.
see why not.
It's one of the reasons why we kind of made the one above all a little more slender and with long hair, almost to give him some slight feminine features so that he's not like always all super masculine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it's
Yeah.
that. Then the spade logo on death, I didn't know this, so I was like, I saw somebody say, oh, is this like related to like Sins of Sinister or something? But when I saw it, I was like, and now did my research and saw that, oh, one of the symbols of death is actually the Ace of Spades. I was like, oh, that's nice. So
Mm.
I all the
Oh,
symbolisms
now
are
I've
there
learned
and
that.
it's nice.
I
That's
know that.
cool. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Yep. So we're learning things here today.
Mhm. So the artists on Storm are all very, very talented, from Lucas to Luciano to Mario. They're all killing it.
Yeah. Here's a question. If Are you going to be having any involvement with Storm in the newly announced that whole Sorcerer Supreme tournament thing that we just really we heard about?
The Sorcerer Supreme thing,
Like
is going to have ramifications in the Storm series. That's all I can say.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Wait.
Very interesting.
Interesting.
Well, you got your first exclusive. Judge.
Ramifications?
Yes.
Ramifications.
You're going to start seeing the
Oh,
ramifications
Storm
next year.
Sorcerer
like
Supreme.
ramifications.
Interesting.
Storm and the
interesting.
Sorcerer
Well,
Supreme.
That makes sense though, because Storm did proclaim herself Earth's protector. So whoever the protector or whoever
That's annoying.
It's gonna be
I'm kind of losing him.
Yeah, I'm looking
It
forward to
is
seeing how
like
that all works out.
because, and also maybe even the definition of Sorcerer Supreme, because like me and a few friends of mine, they're very knowledgeable about the Sorcerer Supreme, and like when it comes to Storm, like we know that while she does have magic in her blood, she's not very well versed in magic itself. So it's going to be an
Right.
interesting way to see as we keep going.
Yeah, so she would have been able to defend herself in Storm 10.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right, exactly. I mean, I personally don't. I don't personally have an interest in her becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, nor do I think that she's going to become it. I have absolutely no
But
like.
nepotism, though.
This is true. But I don't know. I don't
Wait,
personally
what
see it. I
happened?
see which part.
Murewa said
Yeah, well,
something. I didn't hear him.
He
What
said
he
he
I
said
said
nepotism.
nepotism, though.
Nepotism, yes. I've been seeing that word thrown around a lot so much when we're seeing Storm involved. Part of me actually thinks that when it comes to the idea of nepotism, might be on Valeria because of her connection to Doom. I'm thinking, did he do something? Did he set it up so if he lost the Sorcerer Supreme, he's gonna try to make her the next Sorcerer Supreme?
That's an
Is
interesting
that what
point.
happened? Yeah.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I'm interested to see
Well,
what these
I say
ramifications
give
are.
it to Dr. Voodoo.
I'm also kind of hoping for an interaction. Yeah. Give it to Dr. Voodoo. Or give it to Reed.
I say
It'll be
Dr.
funny.
Voodoo.
See the chaos he'll do with that.
Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine. So, well, before this slips my mind, I do have one
Just
question about whether you know this or not, Maria. I was just curious as to if you had any insight. Do we know do we feel like Marvel is surprised by the success of your current Storm run?
I have zero idea what they feel about the current Storm series.
Okay, I was just curious. I wondered how some of them may have felt about that because I know, in the past the others have not done so well. So I was curious about that.
All I know is we get incredible support. I think we saw that the official Marvel page posted about Thunder War. We get a lot of press releases. They push and support the book.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. Now, are they surprised? Are they disappointed? Are they anything? I have zero idea.
Well, we're still going, so it's got to be something good.
Yeah, we're doing something right. So it's what got me to start my show.
And you got all these haters so mad. They got
only something really good can do that.
Platforms.
Yeah.
Bunch of punks. When it comes to Rogue Storm, though, let me ask.
Okay.
So we're gonna actually see some proper fights between Rogue and Storm. We're gonna see some more than just throwing power around. We're gonna be hopefully seeing proper combat as well. Is that what's happening?
I plead the fifth.
Because the thing is,
Don't spoil it.
I've been playing around with a lot of ideas of Storm and taking on other heroes. Just the whole in your head, what would it look like? you think just like who would win in a fight? What would a fight between these two look like? Who would be a good pair up to take on Storm? Because the last
I
person she
think,
got paired up against was Iron Man.
yeah, it's you're very correct. It's something I've always had in mind as well. And it's funny that, these conversations are part of the conversations we have that is fun to have them. It's a fun visual thing to play in your mind. And so when people hear me,
Mhm.
like when I was on Twitter, when I say, oh, this person would beat this person and stuff like that, when I'm thinking, number one, I'm talking as a fan, not as a creator.
Yeah.
It's not about power levels, it's about the pairing. Some characters are
Mm.
just better paired together. They're just, when they pair them together, it's not about power levels. It's just you can see how easier it is for this character to beat this character.
Yeah.
And funny
Mm.
thing is,
Mhm.
despite Rogue not being Omega level, I think she has a better chance against Storm than many other Omega level mutants.
I could see
Honestly,
that.
I'm actually thinking that too. Yeah. In fact, I think alpha levels might actually have a better chance against Storm than Omegas because they have to match Storm's intelligence when it comes to tacticians and power utilizations, while a lot of Omegas try and go, like, just go full on, let's blast her. I mean, we saw that when she was sparring with Iceman. He wasn't trying to be clever with his powers, he was just thinking up new ways to throw his powers at her.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and it's something I've
so
always
that's
been thinking about.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
like trying to think my words here. And it's actually something I'm looking forward to. Like, honestly, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I've always been chatting about what would a one-on-one between Storm and the Invisible Woman look like, because I feel like Susan could actually utilize a lot of Storm's weaknesses, including her claustrophobia, because
yeah,
like you get the shield around her. Yeah.
I think those two pairing are one that I'm like, oh yeah, this is just mutually assured destruction. They both
Oh
can
yeah.
use their powers. I think they both can use their powers against each other. Forget, like, the way they would end each other, to me, in my own, like, this thing,
Mhm.
is not with the grand displays, is the
Yes.
manipulation of putting their powers in the
Yep.
human body. That's
Hmm.
how they would do it.
Yeah.
Putting electricity where it shouldn't go in the human brain, putting a force field where it shouldn't be in the human brain, in the blood vessels, in the heart. Those are the things they would do to each other. Putting the wrong air pressure somewhere. I think it's going to be a precision battle, and I think they will just knock each other out. I think they will both. It's just they're both gone. I
Yeah, I won't
I
lie.
I I, I
They
Every
both
time I
kill each
yeah.
visualize
other.
it, it
It's just like
it
boom,
always
both
ends
of
up
them will
in.
just fall and die and be like, what just happened? What just
Right.
happened?
Right. No, I agree. The battle would be who dies first because they're both gonna die.
Yeah.
It would
and
be
you
like
and
it
it's
would
it,
be
and it
cool.
just be
It would be
clean.
more.
We won't even know what happened. It will be like bam,
Right.
gone.
Yeah.
Like what just happened?
Yeah.
They're both dead. Like what?
That would be
Reaction.
so funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and
I'll
going
be
back to the
putting her in a
sense of
bubble
fighting.
with you. Yeah, good idea.
You
Well,
say
the thing
worries?
is, it might actually be. I want to just talk my theory about this because when it comes to Susan's abilities to encase in a bubble, she can also cut off like a lot of things, like say wizard's connection to the spell. She can even
Mm-hmm.
cut off telepathy. So I think it's something that could happen in that situation could be that
Mm-hmm.
what if she can cut off Storm's connection to the atmosphere?
Yeah,
Throwing that out there. This is
That'll be a very
hypotheticals,
yeah.
really.
But,
that would
but
be
to also use her
very hard for her
powers,
to
she
do.
also,
Because
yeah, you were saying,
go ahead.
okay.
I was
Well,
gonna
it's
say
not the
So
that
for
would
her
be
to use
recess.
her
very hard
powers,
for Sue to do. What happened?
we
Yeah,
keep talking over
and,
each other.
and yeah, we're
Go
talking at
ahead.
Oh
each other.
no,
We're
I
talking
was
fans. Like
really.
no comment. There's no comic creators here right now. This is just fans talking.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it would be very hard for Sue to do that because it would like she would need to know Storm is connected to the atmosphere, right? But also, I don't think putting Storm or inducing her claustrophobia, in my opinion, would be the most dumbest thing anybody could ever do. Because the last time or three times somebody's done that, she just goes into a blitzkrieg attack mode. Just boom, boom, everybody gets attacked. Everybody, I'm angry. Just, I don't think, yeah, claustrophobia, putting her in the bubble, yeah, that's Sue. Even Sue wouldn't do that. I think Sue is smart enough not to put Storm in no bubble.
No, she would
She
not.
knows that.
Yeah, but I was thinking more of like what Jogo say about like our cutting like Storm's access to our powers, like going into our body. But
Oh,
at the same time, for Sue to also do that, she would
oh,
need to send electricity from our brain to our body, through our nerves, through our brain synapses. So, and Storm can also hijack that. So I think they are both equally matched. That so it's almost like maybe who would attack first, like who gets to shut each other's
yeah.
brain out first.
Yeah,
But the
that's
question
one of the
is,
reasons
would
I
they
actually
do that
like it
though?
because of the fact it's very.
That's the
And
question.
also,
Would
would
they
they be
do that?
prepared
Because
if the other
Sue,
one does it?
Sue wouldn't do that. Well,
I didn't hear that.
I
Sorry.
mean,
It's a very
John.
interesting fight because not only would they do have their instant takedowns of each other, but like they also probably would know that they could do that and probably think of a way around it, and that's how you end up with the grand displays. Like this is one of the reasons I like it. I
Uh,
feel that this is a
yeah,
pure 50-50 fight.
yeah.
It's a
And
very
so that's what I was
interesting.
it
saying.
is.
So that's what I'm saying about some pairings are just the power type. It's not about the power
Yeah,
levels.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when we're having this discussion, it's not about power levels, not about it's just about the pairing. And
yeah, it's Pokemon.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, and at the same time, even though we're saying Sue Storm and Storm might be 50-50, like it's like a draw, they can take each other out. Storm usually with telepathic characters is usually not hard because she usually has telepathy resistance. But if it's Sue and a telepathic person, I think a telepathic person might have an edge. So it's one of those, it's those things, like even though Storm and Sue Storm are matched, if you now take them apart, it doesn't mean they match other people to the same way. It starts shifting around.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, in fact, I think there was actually a really good example recently. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I remember I was looking at it. I was thinking, "That's it. That's what we're talking about, damn it!" And I can't remember the example, and it's driving me crazy now. But like, a very good example to prove the point came from Dan Slott's Fantastic Four very early in his run when it had another Thing versus Incredible Hulk fight, and he's going into this head saying, if you ask who's stronger, it's easily the Hulk, but that's not what wins a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and the
Mm-hmm.
Thing managed to win by a good placed, well shot, full power strike to the head. So that's something that you got to think about when it comes to actually battling, and that's also a big point that came from Ewing's X-Men Red. It wasn't the amount of power she was putting in; it was the placement of power, the utilization of power, and this is also what creates interesting storylines in combat, like
Yeah, it's also
because
training.
training as
It's one
well.
of the reasons why one of the reasons why I can put Storm, against a lot of like other powerful characters. When I say, oh, she would win against this character, it's not that, oh, I'm saying, oh, Storm is like way more powerful than this part, like you said about the Thing and the Hulk. I'm not saying like, oh, Storm is like way more powerful. It's like, dude, like this person has been fighting since like her parents died. She's like a very, very young age. Like she's been on the streets with urchin boys. She's had to defend herself. This is someone that, where somebody tried to like sexually assault her, killed a grown man. Do you know what it takes to be able to kill a grown man as a child? As a
Yeah,
child, a small child that is, so it's that like this person has trained with Black Panther, knows martial arts with the Black Panther, has trained with Wolverine, knows all those martial arts, has trained with so many of these guys. And it's like, yeah, it's like you're fighting with a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat boss, and that person can also hurl all the elements and all the forces at an omega level. That's why she's dangerous. It's not about, oh yeah, this, this thing. She's creative with it and all those things. So yeah, she's tactical.
I Yeah, and I think one that might actually go a bit over some people's heads is the idea of who wants it more. Like that always
Yes.
plays a big part in fights. The conviction, the
Yeah.
desire to actually win. I think that's a very overlooked
Like the old Superman versus
form of it.
Batman thing. Batman always wants it more.
Exactly. You
So the
also see it
power
all the
doesn't
time in
matter at that
boxing
point.
matches. Yeah. Like, who was the fights? I think it was Deontay Wilder versus Deontay Wilder. What's the guy's name? Tyson Fury. Like, it was a big fight. It looked like Tyson went down, but he just got right back up and he scared the shit out of Deontay Wilder. It was a really good fight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the idea of conviction and just being hungry for that win, and honestly, that's what I'm thinking. Like, in my what is that probably what's going to be about when it comes to her Infinity
Oh,
in the next
man, I can't wait for you. I
yeah.
can't wait for you to say that. Yeah, that actually plays a big role, just like you said. It's about who wants it more. It's about who is angrier, who is more upset, who is unleashing everything within their powers right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about having like a Mickey in the corner of the seat. Yeah, champ, get up! You can't let this guy take you down. I like boxing. That's the thing. All right, hang on a second. Let me just grab
UFC because they can be shorter.
Exactly. Let's see. Something else I was trying to remember. That's right. I did that. We talked about that. We talked about Rouge Storm.
Your question,
We got a
Reece.
question for Reece.
Are you to name her sword staff? If not, or if you have not come up with a name, can I help you coming up with a name for her weapon? Can I give you some ideas?
Because of legal issues, it will be very difficult. The best you can do is be like int, and you can't say it outrightly. But no names yet. But
What if we put disclaimers in?
I should be able to get a name soon. I'm still working on Rouge Storm, where she gets a new set of weapons. So that's where my space is at right now. So probably when I come back there, I would have like more stuff.
Okay. I am surprised.
Are we going to get a name for her axe that she's using? It's like that doesn't seem very Storm. Like that's a big, heavy weapon, and she's been more about grace. That's why I feel like the spear fits so much.
Yeah. So
that kind of fits into the idea and what we might be seeing.
Yeah, so that's one of the fun we're trying to have with this. Let's see some of those differences. Let's see some of those shifts. Because now she's going to be using more of magic than we've been seeing before. So now she's using an heavier weapon. So we're going to see like a different build, a different fighting style than we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing her with knives, swords, and more graceful weapons and a brutal axe. So yeah, this is like we said, this is primal Storm. So like this is like
wow.
This isn't Storm like we've seen before.
I'm wondering how cool it would be. It was actually one of those anime giant axes that are actually bigger than a person.
Oh,
how cool
I
that would
wanted
be.
it to be that, but I wanted it to be that, but I think Roller Boski's like, dude. Like, no, let's not go so crazy.
Oh, come on, let's go nuts.
It's
oh man, that would be so cool.
It's outside leans more into some of this like this classic kind of illustration. So I can see why it's like, oh yeah, I think this looks better. It's going to move better than if it's this anime sized arcs in this art style is going to be too ridiculous.
We just got the comments from Brandio that for the naming of the spear, we get the top three choices from you, Murewa, and have a fan vote. Like you put it up, and we all vote on who the name should be.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Maybe I
We
should
did
do
that.
Damn. Hey, we did it for
Yeah,
an
I can do
X-Men
that.
roster for a couple of years there.
Yeah. We can do that. We can do that. Fans getting to name sword staff. That actually makes sense.
The great sword staff. I mean, that's a very long. Maggot, hand me my great sword staff. You just
Yeah, it's too long.
I was actually
Um, it was
chatting
it
with
was
somebody, and here's a name. Sorry, Murewa, you go ahead.
no. I didn't know Shango's axe his name as well. I just forgot to check it. So I think it was kicking it. I think it was kicking its comics or something. It's one of these YouTuber that said it. I was like, oh yeah. When I googled it, I think it's Ose Shango or something like that. OSE. So I'm like, oh yeah, with a little mark on the E. So I'm like, oh yeah, so his axe has a name too. So I think all the Thunder Gods have their weapons. For I think you might have seen it in the previews, but you might not have noticed it. For Zeus, um, I didn't go with the Thunderbolt because like every storm god uses a thunderbolt to some extent. So yeah. So I gave him a herp,
mhm.
like HARPE. So which is like this hook kind of thing. Is a weapon is used once in a while. I think he used it to fight Typhon, but I think it's his father that uses it
Mm.
the most. That's Kronos. So yeah, it's like this hook kind
The
of
scythe.
thing. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
a
not
sickle.
fully
Yeah,
scythe.
sickle.
It's curved. It's a sickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah. So that's the
Yeah,
weapon
I know
we
that one.
go with. So we've been trying to give like a lot of both the entities and the gods. We've tried to give all of them like unique, iconic weapons. Just because it's just cool and it helps the world
It's
building and
because
it
it's
gives them
cool.
personality. Yeah, and it gives them personality.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
all
wait
got
for you to see.
Mjolnir.
I can't wait for you to see the weapon of the Never Queen. It's ridiculous.
I was actually wondering if she was gonna pop in because, because honestly, I totally forgot that Infinity was actually the sister of Eternity, and when the way she popped in and started yelling at Storm, I kind of got the idea that it was his wife. It's like it kind of like walking in and yelling at the mistress.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like so.
It's
Like I'm making all these ideas. It's like, oh wait, no, that's his sister.
That's the sister. That's part of the fun we're saying about the Storm series. We mentioned that Infinity is Eternity's sister, but all the way back in issue 4. So when she does something, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's his sister," and it's nice. I didn't see her. So yeah,
Yeah, and then you got the Never Queen, that's the wife. So then she could probably
yeah.
yell at Storm like that's an interest.
So it's good. It's good to see all these payoffs and everything. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good, even just feeling the payoffs and like all the things that you've been mentioning, even on your socials, and we actually starting to see it. That's actually been incredible to actually experience. Like when before before issue 9, you mentioned the idea of the conceptual being that was prisoned was connected to the Fantastic Four. So yeah, I actually had some Storm fans that are friends come to me asking, "Hey Jug, who do you think he's talking about? You're the Fantastic Four guy I go to," and I'm thinking, well, there's a lot. And honestly, when I actually said Abraxas, I said like I thought it could be Abraxas, but that's
But
only
you
because
weren't
like I think
sure.
I just saw him. I wasn't sure. I just saw him just a few a little while ago, and it was just and because I just wasn't expecting you to actually use Abraxas. Because like nobody has used him since the 2000s, and it was just a bit of a shock. And the fact that, and also I kind of wanted to ask, like, did you intend completely like 100% to use Abraxas, or was that a bit like uh, oh, how am I wording this here? Because what was my shock is we've seen other destructive beings besides Abraxas, and no one thinks about Abraxas. How did you think to use Abraxas?
um uh, it, like we'll start getting to understand now, I think, with Storm 11, that this story is basically about the entities see the world one way, and they rule in a they are the rulers of existence right now, while the gods see that the universe should be run another way. They So it's almost like, in figurative terms, the cosmic entities are the titans, while the gods are the Olympians. So, but this is the moment before the titanomachy, basically. Before they usurp them. But it's the story is not going to go the same way. It's like, are you going to be able to usurp the cosmic entities? So the story is basically about those two groups, and let's see what things they have in you know what things they have in common. And we saw that the gods kind of have a very dangerous god from the Thor run of Jason Aaron, where they have a god of destruction or so, that creates the god bomb for God, the god butcher. So I'm like, okay, if there's the god bomb, the cosmic entity probably have someone that's someone that's the entity of destruction. And I think, to me, I had two options, because I need the characters to be linked to eternity, since eternity will be the one to use. And it's the Big Bang and Abraxas. And the Big Bang, I'm like, it's cool, but I might want to use the Phoenix. I might want to use the Phoenix Force in this story. And the Phoenix Force, in some continuity, especially written by Al Ewing in I think Defenders Beyond,
Yeah,
is the
Defenders.
Big
Yeah,
Bang. Is the Big Bang. So if you have the Big Bang, cosmic entity, and the Phoenix Force, then you've just created like a tautology. It's they will they are, it won't work. So I'm like, okay, let's not go with the Big Bang. Let's go with Abraxas. And I always liked Abraxas and his demeanor. And I'm like, okay, so let's also give him a cool, redesign to look like,
mm,
the current landscape of the cosmic entities. So if the gods have, the god bomb, the cosmic entities have Abraxas.
brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. That's very good to hear. Because the thing is, when it came to Abraxas, when I read that particular story, I felt like he was a little bit overshadowed when he was defeated by the reveal of Sue being pregnant with Valeria. So I didn't think anybody was ever going to think about him again.
Okay.
So that was massive shock. Yeah. So that was absolutely great. So yeah, it looks like Anton had to leave, and we got a lot of good things from you. So I think it was probably a good time to start wrapping up. Let you get ready for bed. Let me go back to bed. Let Reece get home. I think we're all ready to wrap it up for this. So yeah, issue 10 was an absolutely stellar issue. The only part you lost me on was killing my favorite Australian character. We're going to have
Sorry
words
about
about that
that.
some other time, maybe. Just having a laugh. As long as you're bringing him back, but then it's still going to just be a laugh. Serious face.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like I said before, I really love how you've managed to recapture the essence that Dwayne McDuffie had in his Fantastic Four run. As you know, as a massive Fantastic Four fan, and I'm going to annoy Reece here more because we keep talking F4 every time he wants to talk Storm. I'm hoping if we get enough, I'm hoping we get enough issues to see a crossover because I love Storm when she's with the Fantastic Four. You have no idea how much I've loved
Same here.
every interaction she's with them. Yeah, it's
And imagine the
absolutely
space
brilliant. I
adventures
love
with
that
both of
first.
them.
Yeah, it would be just brilliant. Like I've always felt that Storm, if she wasn't like a protector, she'd be an explorer. So like she want to see
Mm-hmm.
things, she wants to absorb things. She's very inquisitive. So I'm really hoping we can see that. I'll support the book just so we can eventually get that. Maybe even see her interact with Valeria in that whole Sorcerer Supreme contest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's an amazing book. I hope you feel proud of yourself because you really should, because it's a
Thank you.
brilliant book. I've loved everything you've said here. I have been very happy to have you here. In fact, I really hope we can chat again eventually. Maybe
Thank you
when we
very
get to
much.
Storm 15.
Yeah,
I hope you guys
hopefully.
have
Yes.
an absolutely lovely day. Hope you
And you
guys have an
too.
absolutely lovely day. Thank you for being on Jug Live with me. I'll see you guys later. Love you. Love to
Yeah,
you
it
both. See you, boys.
was an honor. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. There we go.